Well, hello folks. Hey, the old fisherman back with you. We been slowing down on our videoing, but we've been fishing, still fishing, loving life, having a great time. And I want to tell all of y'all, I appreciate each and every one of you that's watched my videos and are still watching. I got plenty of older videos to look at. And hope you go back and look at well over 1,000 videos. And about 3/4 of them, we didn't have a live scope. So if you don't like to look at videos with live scope, hey, you can go back at least 800 or 900 of my earlier videos in the John boat and the blue tracker boat. But pretty well all of them out of the Vexus boat has got live scope. But if you don't like live scope, some people do, some people don't. I love it. I just love it. It helps me learn about the fish. But we had a good day today. We caught a limit of 20 crappies. Did not have the cameras rolling, but I do have the cameras rolling. I'm gonna go over some tackle, what I caught them on, and some tricks that I do. And bear with me. I'm gonna pull out this stuff, and I'm gonna share with you some of my tricks of the trade with my catfishing. The big catfish I've been catching and the crappies that I catch now and what I've been using. First of all, the big catfish, we've been using a TFO trout panfish rod, and it's panfish 2. And it's 6'6", 1/16 to 3/8. That's the one I've been catching the catfish on. It's real light action. And here's my rig. We got fluorocarbon 8-pound. You can use power braid, or you can go with a less expensive braid, but 8 pounds is what I use, and I go to a swivel, about a number 10 swivel, and then I use Red Label or Seaguar line fluorocarbon. And preferably for the catfish, I like 8. And I got a little tiny split shot, and we got this little small 30-second jig head with a Seco hook. You'll see it as a long shank. That's what it takes when you're using the Gulp shrimp. And I'm gonna put one of them on for you and show you how I rig it. Y'all bear with me. We're using a Gulp 2-inch new penny shrimp. And I'll take that joker and I'll thread it on. You can either thread it out the bottom side or the top side. It doesn't make a difference. You can pull these whiskers off if you want to. Really don't make a difference. But if you stick that joker in there like this and make sure you get it straight, and you notice there's no barb or nothing to catch it. It'll hold up there pretty good. And that right there is what's catching them doggone big old catfish. I don't know if they think it's I really think they think it's a crawfish, is what I think. And it glides in there with that little head, and I like the split shot above it. When you twitch it, split shot's twitching, and this joker will come off the bottom and kind of glide back down. It's got a flat tail, which makes it glide. And this fish like anything swimming and gliding instead of up and down. So that gives it a yo-yo effect, kind of like a Carolina rig with a worm. And I like this particular is a lose reel here. It's the bigger one. It's the 300 series, and it's got the big spool. And I like that for my catfish. All right, that being said, that's my catfish rig right there. You see it. All right, that being said, let's go now to the crappie rig. And you noticed here lately, I have not been buying minnows. I quit buying minnows. I found out that you don't really have to. On my crappie rod, it's the same kind of rod, TFO Trout Panfish 2. It's a 1-piece now. And I got a little President Pfluger reel here. On it, and it's a C30 President Pfluger reel, C30. Anyhow, I got 8-pound braid, same rig as the catfish rig, and then we go to a swivel, and I got a little bit longer line with 6-pound test fluorocarbon. And I'm fishing 25, 30 foot deep. So I got a BB here about 8 inches above it, 6 inches above the hook, which is a 64th jig head with a number 8 hook. I like the little hooks, which looks too small. They make one with a 6 hook, but I really believe in my mind that they like that short shanked 8 hook better. And I put 2 little split shots on this, one way up the line, and for my crappie. Now on my crappie, we've been using one or two things. We've been using the Gulp sandworm or the Gulp 2.5 inch minnow. We found out that they'll bite these bigger minnows pretty well. And I'll show you how I put my sandworm on. There we got a sandworm. All right, we take that little 64th jig head, and that's not easy to do. These things are kind of slick. We'll run that joker in there. I like, it don't make a difference which side you come out of, but you don't go far. You want it straight. So the length of your jig, your hook shaft, you want that thing to be straight. See how I got it on there? And you want it where to kind of glide down also. That's the rig that those crappies, when they hit mayfly lavas, and sometimes when they not hit mayfly lavas, they will eat that thing up. Now, if you're in shallow water, you don't have to have the double leads, but I'm fishing 30 foot, 25 foot deep right now. And letting this thing, throwing it on them and let it glide by them, and they will kill it. Now, we're using a smaller rod on this one. It's a TFO trout panfish, 6'6", but it's a 32nd to a, let me make sure I ain't got my glasses. 3/16, 32nd to 3/16 rod. And that's important. If you go up bigger, it'll be stiffer like that rod there. Same rods, only this one's a little bit smaller in diameter around here and a little bit less lighter action than the one for the catfish. And I've got a 7 foot that I like, is the heavier rod also. But that's the rig for the crappies. I know I don't show a lot of tackle, but now I'm gonna pull this off. If I'm using the Gulp minnow, I'm gonna show you what I do. Now, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can use that hook that I just showed you, or you can use a bigger shaft hook. And I'm gonna pull one of them out and show you the difference. I'm gonna lay them on the table right there. I hope you can see it. You see, that's got a number 6 hook in it, and it's longer shaft. That would probably be best for the minnow. And you see this one laying right by it. You can see the difference. You see the difference in them shafts? The number 8 is shorter, number 6 a little bit bigger. Now you can take dikes and spread this hook out and make it bigger. Now, I've been catching them with this minnow on that small hook. It will work on the other one with the same heads as the longer hook, probably more applicable. If you hook it, how far it goes down it. But when you do it with the little jig head, you can see it only goes this far. So when you rip that part out, you can cut it off right there, take your scissors and make a little kind of a semi-point with your jig and reuse it again. I like it on both hooks, but I think I like it better on the little hook, but only you got less hook to fish with. And what I'll do is I'll thread that thing on like that right there. And you got a beautiful minnow. Look at that. Ain't that pretty? To catch them doggone crappies with. And it catches perch also. Now, but the perch, I like to use a bigger head, a lot bigger head. We can go up to an 1/8 ounce head, or 3/16. That way it don't spin around circles when it's going down and ties everything in a knot. So light hook, light head for the crappie, bigger head for the perch. Y'all remember that. Now, if it rips out, you can cut that joker right there and take your scissors and cut a point out and stick it back on with a shorter jig and catch them just as good. Just a few tips from the old fisherman. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay out these crappies and I'm gonna show you what we caught today, and then we're gonna clean a couple of them my way. We're gonna fillet a couple, and we're gonna take a couple and scale them and notch them like I fry them whole. Get right back with you. All right, folks. We got our lemon of crappies laid out. Y'all can see them. Beautiful crappies. Ones down here are probably almost 2 pounds a piece. Beautiful crappies. Had a good day for a summertime day. This is in August 2024. And a beautiful catch of fish caught on them sandworms and those gulp minnows I just showed you. Ain't that pretty? Now, we're gonna position this doggone camera up here. And we're gonna show you how we're gonna clean a couple of these fish. Not all of them, just a couple of them. I'm gonna take the rest of them and clean them later. But hey, let's put the camera down on it. And let's see if we can do that. Ain't that a pretty mess of fish? I did not have the cameras out with me when I caught them. Beautiful mess of fish. All right, get right back with you. All right, we got our old board. I like to fillet on my board, but if I'm gonna fillet a crappie, I do it with the skin on. If I don't want the skin on it, I'll do it with the skin on, with the scales on. And what I'll do is I'll fillet the side off just like that. Okay? Now, I'll take that side and I'll go between the scales and the meat. And the scales keeps the blade in there against it, the skin, and I'll cut that and I'll fillet that skin right off of it. See there? Nothing but skin. And then, I don't like the rib cage, I'll cut the rib cage out. Just like that. Just like that. And you got a beautiful piece of fillet if you like your fish without the skin on it. Now, I'm gonna do the other half the way I would normally do it. I don't have my pan out here to put my fish in. That's one thing I didn't do, so I'll have to get a pan out here. But if I'm gonna fillet him with the skin on, I scale him just like this. Okay? And I'll do the same thing. I'll go down against the ribs, turn my blade, and go right out. Just like that. Now, a lot of people like this backbone piece. I left the fins on this one, but I'm gonna show you how to do it without having the fins on them. 2 different ways. I'm gonna lay it over here out the way. Now at this point it's scaled. So what I'll do here on this side, since it's scaled and I want the skin on, to fry with the skin on, I'll cut the rib cage out and I just press down hard and cut through the skin. Just as so. And I'll cut the rib cage out. Now, if you want to eat on that rib bone, you can keep that in there and fry it. But then you got a good piece of meat. And when I get a crappie like that, a lot of times I'll cut him in half like this right here. And that leaves you some tremendous eating. If they like this, I like to cornmeal them maybe mixed with something else. I like just self-rising or plain cornmeal will work. And you can mix a house oyster or whatever with it and batter it up for those. Now, we got the one filleted without the skin, one filleted with the skin. Now we're gonna take a little one and I'm gonna scale it. These old scalers, you can get it at Walmart. They cheap. Okay. What I like to do on most of my crappies is I cut the fins out. I don't leave them fins in there like that. I want to show you how I done that in case you'd like to chew on the fins. But I don't like the fins on there. I'll cut it on each side and push up and it pulls them fins right out. See there? And go on the bottom and do the same thing. Cut on each side. Now if it's a big crappie, you might have to cut it up. But on a smaller crappie like that, you can kind of push up and you got it off. Then you cut across his head. Now at this point, I like to cut that little fin off like that, so I just cut into the rib cage across like that. And then I get the intestines out. And a crappie that size, to me, I like to fry him whole. So I'm gonna notch him 3 times, 2 or 3 times. It makes a really good piece of fish to eat. Now, we're gonna do a big one totally with the skin on. Got to scale them scales off. And now on the big one, no reason to leave these fins on because they're gonna stick through your freezer bag, whatever. I cut on each side, like that. And then I push up with my knife blade and it pulls it out. You see it, pulls it right out. Look in there, pulled it. Now you got all this meat that you can eat with no bone. Okay, then you cut on each side of the bottom fin. Now a big one like that, you can't just pull it out. You got to take your blade and kind of just saw it up in, and I like to get the hole there, and then now you go down and you want to fillet. Hold the mouth of the fish with one hand, turn your blade, and you just go right out against the bone. Now a lot of people like that rib cage in it. We're gonna leave the rib cage in it. We're gonna go out and do the same thing on the other side. I've showed you about 3 different ways now you can have these fish. Go out the other side. Same way, see that? Now, you got this backbone piece that's really good. I like to trim that head off and I'll fry that too. Good eating, nice fish. You see it. The old fisherman way of cleaning, several different ways in one. Now, we got one more small one we're gonna do. You can get these tables at, I think any of your sporting goods stores got it. Academy Sports is where I bought this one. Nice little table if you want to just bring something out to clean fish on. Works really well. And these boards here, this is a Rapala board. I've cleaned a lot of fish on it. It don't scratch up your table, so you can use this as a protector. Cut on each side the fins. Push out. Cut on each side the bottom fins. That's small enough you can kind of push the whole thing out. Cut across. And then again, notch it 3 times. Makes it fry in good. Makes a really good piece of fish. Hey folks. Turn this camera up. And remember, thanks so much for watching the Old Fisherman videos. Hope you learned something today. This is what I'm catching crappies on without buying minnows. I hate having to keep minnows alive, and it's working. If I can catch a limit of crappies on artificial, then that's what I'll do. Love all of y'all. I know I've slowed down on the videos. I don't like doing it like I used to. I'm doing a lot of fishing without videoing, but I might bring you more of these kind of videos showing you technique maybe of my jig heads and lines and swivels and how we rig our stuff, and with a little cleaning, and might throw some cooking in sooner or later again. But thanks so much for watching. Hey, remember, go back. I've got plenty of videos, shows you all kind of different fishing. Appreciate y'all going back and watch them. God bless you, and thanks for watching the Old Fisherman video. We'll see you next trip.